We are going to go back to a book we had talked about before, which was a book written by a woman, which was called The Occult I Ching, which I showed you before how she does her own drawings for each of the hexagrams. And sometimes she has quotes from others in here as well. And like you see a quote on that page from someone else. And you also have where each one comes, you have something to do with the tarot. Now, I have looked at the tarot in relation to this, and I have used one particular book for it that analyzes a tarot card and then shows you some of the different types of tarot cards and how they relate to this. But what I'm going to do this time, I'm going to make one change from what I said before, because I am not going to use that source I did before for the tarot. Instead, I am going to use this book, which is specifically about the Crowley tarot, Aleister Crowley, which his tarot is called the Book of Thoth, Thoth, was an Egyptian word. Now, the interesting thing about this book, which is done by these people that you see here, and I won't go into their background, though it is very fascinating, I may do that later, is that this takes the Crowley tarot, and what it does with it is, for example, I'll just tell you briefly, at the very, very top of the page, the very, very top, you see there, it'll be a picture of the Crowley card just in black and white. Of course, I have the Crowley cards. I can look at them. But what's funny about this, or I shouldn't say funny, what's interesting is that it gives a depth analysis of any one card. At the very top, it gives the basic principles. Then here's the things it does within. Now, this is very extensive, but I'll just give you the types of things it does. Foundation. Now, this is called Foundation, which has the card, world harmony, and then analysis and description, and then the figure of the card, adjustment, the crown, uh, scales. Let me see what we got here. If I can read this anyway. Marks upon the eyes, the center and the background, and then we go to interpretation. The next section is background, the goddess of balance, general background, how it relates to consciousness and to your profession and to your relationships. Now, another thing in here that's very interesting, which parallels the occult I Ching, I'll tell you in a minute. But what it does in this section is analogous correlations. One, archetypes and symbols. For example, archetype, the judge, world harmony. Then it goes into letters. Now, the letter for this, and it gives what it is and what it means. And then it gives the number and what it means. And then it goes to the tree of life, which is called the Kabbalah, which I have in a separate book here by, as you can see, Stephen Hola, which does how the Kabbalah and the tarot cards go together. So this book here does the same thing, and I'll compare them later. And then it gives you the I Ching hexagram that goes best with this. Now, sometimes it takes the same I Ching hexagram as here for that particular tarot card, and sometimes it does not. And then it goes to runes, zodiac, various deities, mythology, cult sites, Sabbath, rituals, and then associations and perceptions, pictures, writings, Then on the next page, we have music, and then it goes down to fragrance, gems, astrology, and then again, quotations, just as the occult I Ching has quotations. So you can see from this that there are many parallels between the two. And I will take one. I will take one in particular, and we'll get into some more details about it. But what I think I will do now, rather than using that smaller book about the tarot and compare them, when I read the tarot that she suggests in here, in her book, the tarot card that goes with a particular hexagram, I will use the explanation of the Crowley tarot. Now, I have another explanation of the Crowley tarot, but this one is much more in depth. So, and as you see, there are a couple of the actual pictures of the tarot cards. Of course, I have Crowley tarot cards, and I can read those anytime I want. Now, what we are going to do with this is we're going to call this ChingTarot, meaning I Ching and Tarot combined. So we'll do ChingTarot 1, but it will go in the Tarot folder. So we will continue with this shortly.